6 days ago. So this is new. I have not heard anybody talking about it. So we're going to talk about, well, obviously MSN now, but we're going to have some chat on that too.
Margaret Atwood joined the Velshi Band Book Club to talk about her seminal dystopian novel, The Handmaid's Tale. She reminded us that she got all the ideas for the book set in a near-future autocratic theocracy from actual history, from real things that had happened in the world and could happen again. She actually kept the newspaper clippings that she used as research when she wrote this book in 1985. And this week, there's a story out of the state of Ohio that reads like a building block of Gilead come to life. Ohio Republicans introduced a bill that would allow the government to track every pregnancy from beginning to end. The measure, called House Bill 754, H.
754. Sorry, y'all. So, Ohio bill. Now, he talked about Handmaid's Tale. I don't know if y'all read that in high school. I did. Basically, women who didn't follow the plan of what needed to happen in like a high level situation. I'm not gonna get in the crevices of like why and who and all those things, but if you are not following the plan, then these policies are made for you to do what we tell you to do. Long story short, this was around the same time of what's that book where they had to wear the A? It's another one too. But there was a bunch.
Scarlet Letter.
There you go. Scarlet Letter. There you go. Yeah. Around the same time as Scarlet Letter, like those are similar books, similar concepts, similar books. So why is that relevant today, right? This House bill is going to talk about tracking. And let's think about it from a tax perspective before we get into this. The reason why it would be even an option to track is because technology has advanced so much that you'd be able to. So keep that in mind as they go through this. And shout out to Joe. Joe's in the chat. And we got some new subscribers too. So I'm going to shout some of y'all out.
Okay. You're also getting that post-workout creatine in there. That's what I'm talking about. Although studies have shown that it doesn't matter when you take creatine.
You said it doesn't matter?
Whenever. As long as it's within a 24-hour period, it should work for you. It also has extreme neurological gains. That's it.
Message. All right. So let's get in this House bill.
Create a state-run registry of pregnancies, requiring medical providers to file a certificate of life within the Ohio Department of Health within 10 days of examining a pregnant patient and detecting a fetal heartbeat. It's worth noting here that what we call a fetal heartbeat is more accurately described as fetal heart activity, which the Cleveland Clinic notes begins as the cells that will later form the fetal heart begin to cluster early in the first trimester and can create electrical pulses. The medical provider would be required to provide a copy of that certificate of life to the pregnant woman. The bill also mandates that fetal deaths be registered with the state and that providers specify whether a pregnancy ended in miscarriage, abortion, or stillbirth.
Now, let's keep this in mind. I know we talk a lot, like we hear a lot about abortion. States have different times that you can be viable to get an abortion, right? I believe in Ohio, I don't think Ohio is like one of those strict ones. I want to say they might be like 16, 22 weeks, something like that. 16 weeks is 4 months. I think some of them are typically between like 4 or 5 months. I think we talked about one state, was it Cali? I think Cali let you go up to like 8 months or something like that. But Ohio, from what I understand, is not on that part of the wave. But we're talking about 4 or 5 months, right? Like somebody could miss their cycle and not know for a couple months. At the end of the day, like previously to this, and it's not a current law today, but in current state, if that were to happen, you go get an abortion if you want to, and then nobody knows. But according to this, let's say you 4 months, it's legal, but we're gonna still make a death certificate, and we're gonna track that you had.
Oh, they're making death certificates, and that's a precursor
correct.
To making
That'll
it
be
illegal.
Correct.
Yeah,
and then, but I want to before he gets into this a little bit deeper. Miscarriages are, I think they say it's like every 2 out of 3. It's a high percent of pregnancies are miscarriages. But this also says we don't really care if you wanted to get rid of the baby or not. If that baby if that fetus dies, if anything with a heartbeat no longer has a heartbeat, we want record of that. period. That is massive. I could not imagine you really wanted your baby and you have a miscarriage and you have to literally name, you would have to name, right? You have to go through the process of a death certificate. That's, to me, that's horrible. Yeah, that's really, really horrible. But I think it's for tracking purposes to know how often people are able or unable to. And really, I think they're trying to track population. Keep that in mind as we go through this. Cassius Pay, do you have anything else you want to add before I move forward?
Yeah, I can probably chime in a little bit on this one. I think this is Ohio wanting to do a formal registry on every
That's what he said.
pregnancy.
Yep.
Yeah. So the death certificate thing is a little weird, but it's a new state level database on reproductive history. And that you can take that as you will, whether it's on the negative or positive side of it. Maybe it's to create a different level of taxation base. It's just we're getting a little bit deep.
Well, you could get laws on how many at that point. Like you could really say, look, you filed 10 death certificates in 8 years. You need to get your uterus taken.
I mean,
I'm
the
just
thing is
saying,
that
but that's the
I
Handmaid's
hear
Tale
you.
thing he's talking about here. Like that's that connection where
My
you're
thing is that we
policing.
already have a birth rate problem. So
Mhm.
it sounds like it's just maybe a particular group, a particular demographic that we're trying to lower birth rates for, whether it's financial or otherwise. But I am not here for it, whichever one this is.
Yeah,
Wow,
in
this
my
dude
opinion.
he's doing some ill stuff down there. I'm glad that he ain't online today because he's in these
um
comments going crazy.
yeah. So my thing on this, and I'll drop the link so we can move to our next topic. But my thing on this is there's a variation of reasons why the baby or the fetus or wherever you are in that journey may or may not have happened. I think that there's just a level of accountability that the state is trying to hold people to. Now, keep in mind, if I'm in Ohio, ain't I just gonna go to Kentucky, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Virginia, New York? Like, wouldn't I just go to another state?
Well, yeah, but if other states adopt this kind of scenario, then now you're getting cornered.
I would
Right?
be super surprised if New
A whole
York,
bunch of people flying to
Cali.
California.
Yeah, I
People
can't
flying
imagine
there.
Cali would take this. Yeah, Cali, Colorado. I just
Yeah,
couldn't.
those are
Even
very
Virginia,
liberal.
even Virginia, I'd be surprised if they adopted that. I'd be very surprised.
Sipping tea under soft moonlight. News and tales drift through the air. Advice served with a velvet flare.